My name is Daniel Perlin, and for my senior project, I'm doing a downtown revitalization project for Old Town Goleta in Goleta, California. What I want to accomplish is to reestablish a sense of community and encourage economic vitality by reinvigorating physical and personal connections back to the Hollister Avenue corridor. Current residents of Old Town Goleta live in a district that is split in half by Hollister Avenue and must deal with a community that is left without a legitimate, unifying identity. By designing the streetscape to be a pedestrian-friendly environment, I would like to produce an atmosphere that is inviting, comfortable, safe, and gives Old Town Goleta a distinctive character. Looking at the regional analysis, you can see that the city of Goleta is located in Southern California, just north of the city of Santa Barbara. Focusing on geography, Goleta is located in a valley surrounded by the Santa Ynez Mountains, the Santa Barbara Mesa, and the Pacific Ocean. There are three main arterial roads that serve as main connectors from Goleta to Santa Barbara, and these include Highway 101, Cathedral Oaks, and Hollister Avenue. Looking at the land use, the city of Goleta is dominantly comprised of single-family residential neighborhoods. There are also close connections from Old Town Goleta to UCSB, the Santa Barbara Airport, and the Goleta Amtrak Station. Old Town Goleta is in close proximity to major arterial roads that serve as main connectors to neighboring cities, and there are currently many bus routes that serve as important links within the city of Goleta, as well as to Santa Barbara, making Old Town Goleta a well-connected community. The land use of Old Town Goleta is comprised of a mixture of high and low density residential uses, commercial, and various industrial, commercial, and business parks. The existing circulation is very limited. Hollister Avenue has split this community in half, creating an unsafe and unfriendly barrier. Sidewalks are narrow or non-existent, and the pedestrian crosswalks are very limited. Vegetation is severely lacking in Old Town Goleta, and there are very few trees along the Hollister Avenue corridor. This creates an uncomfortable and uninviting place for pedestrians. Old Town Goleta has a long history which has left the community with many historic buildings along the Hollister Avenue corridor. The graphic you see here maps out important historic buildings and shows that Old Town Goleta has a dominant Spanish colonial revival architectural style. For the first design concept, I focused on a commission approach, which involved designing the downtown area as the city would like to see it, based on budget and regulations. Positive aspects of this design include restoring all existing buildings, preserving history, wider sidewalks, street trees as buffer along the road, and adding mixed use to existing structures. Some of the negative aspects of this design include car is still a dominant feature of the corridor is still not at human scale, no pedestrian gathering spaces, and road is still a dividing factor to both sides of the community. For the second design concept, I focused on a preservation approach while still enhancing the downtown. This concept looks 20 to 30 years down the road where major changes can occur in renewing and replacing the existing corridor to make it a more pedestrian-friendly environment. Positive aspects of this design include preserving history, human scale, new buildings complementing the old, decreased emphasis on the road, and increased vegetation. Some of the negative aspects of this design include there is no sufficient gathering space for events, it involves removing some existing buildings, and the car is still a relatively dominant feature of the corridor. For the third design concept, I focused on an outlook approach that involves looking 50 years down the road into the future of the city. This concept involves eventually replacing most of the existing structures and enhancing the downtown as a community for residents, visitors, and workers. The idea behind this concept is to take emphasis off the road and provide a pedestrian-dominant downtown. Positive aspects of this design include pedestrian dominance, increased walkability, decreased emphasis on the road, a variety of uses and users, and a sense of community. Some of the negative aspects of this design include replacing most existing buildings along the corridor, removing the historic aspect, and this would be a long-term goal and not an immediate fix. By completing these three design concepts, I have made myself more aware of what direction I would like to take the project in the next phase. Based on these three design iterations, I'm going to be moving forward by combining elements and ideas from each of these concepts that work, and hopefully come up with a concept that I will be moving forward with for further refining and detailing.